Reese here. This is just another martial arts chat, and what a good way to start off this month. October is it's bully. I think it's basically Bully Awareness Month, and I'd like to start this off with that kind of a thing. First off, I just found a site that has some great numbers on it, and I'm going to leave the link to that site in the description below. But I want, and you guys can look at it again. I'm just going to go over some of the things that they put on here. He has a lot of stuff on here, and he did a great job. So whoever did this, I don't know who did this. Let's see. I don't know, but I know that whoever, I'll just put it up, and it has a bunch of great things on here, but I'm going to go over some of the stats with it. And it's mainly because I want people to realize that there is I think there's more to bullying than what people mostly think. There's a lot. There's different ways to bully. Girls get bullied different than boys. And nowadays with social media, we call it trolling, but it's actually still bullying. Whether people believe that or not, or they don't want to, and they'll say, we'll get into that in a minute. But let's just go over. Let's go over the first thing. The very first thing it has, it's like in big bold letters. It says the numbers continue to rise every month, and I agree with this. This is something that I think that people are trying to spring more awareness of, and it's almost like the more we're aware of bullying, and the more that we continue to tell people to quit bullying, the larger it seems to get. And I don't know if it's because people are saying you're too sensitive, or I don't know if it's just, I don't know what it is exactly. And I think it's probably more people are, not, like I said, more aware of it, so you see it more and more, and people are coming out more and more, and the more people are coming out. And I think there are some numbers that are probably just people going, oh, that guy bullied me. Why? And really find out later on it was just because, he called that dude a name, because that dude called him a name, and that one just was a little more sensitive than the other one, but now he's bullying me. So sometimes some of these accounts are, I don't think they're near as traumatic as some people are putting them. I think it's just a perspective thing and accountability thing. But let's get into some of this. I just want to give some of these stats out there just for you guys to hear. It is estimated that 160,000 children miss school every day due to a fear of attack or intimidation by other students. The source of that is the National Education Association. And according to the National School Safety Center, American schools harbor approximately 2.1 million bullies and 2.7 million of their victims. Whoa. That's a lot. That's a lot, man. And 1 in 7 students in grades kindergarten through 12th grade is either a bully or a victim of bullying. That's a pretty general statement, isn't it? Okay, well, 1 in 7. Okay, we'll just say that. Okay, 56% of students have personally witnessed some type of bullying at school. That should probably be higher, I'm thinking. Just for witnessing, you should probably be higher. 15% of all school absenteeism is directly related to fears of bullied at school. That's probably correct. 71% of students report incidents of bullying as a problem at their school. That is a high incident report for bullying. For there to still be that many things happening. That's an insanely amount. Because it was much lower before. Like years ago, that number was a lot lower. So 1 out of 20 students has been a student with a gun at school. Okay, now that's not too shocking nowadays, but it's shocking to know that it's at school. But and I would say that demographic, I think you'd have to go demographically, like who's going to carry a weapon and what's kind of okay. It's just weird. That's 1 out of 20 students. That's pretty nuts. Those in the lower grades reported being in as twice as many fights as those in higher grades. However, there is a lower rate of serious violent crimes at the elementary level than in middle or high school. Yeah. 90% of fourth through eighth graders report being victims of bullying. That's probably, I would say that that number is pretty accurate, only because the fact that we're looking at those age ranges. Those grade levels these are some developing ages, and these are like when, like, I don't know, their bodies are changing, their hormones are changing, so suddenly it's like all the crazy comes out because it's like, I don't know. I think it's just something about the puberty. I think it really is about puberty. Everything's changing in their bodies, and this is when things are starting to develop in their minds and in their bodies and things like that. And what you're learning from home is going to start carrying on over into your personal life. So these are very, and that's that's psychology. So it's one of those maps that this is what happens around these ages anyway. Among students, homicide perpetrators were more than twice as likely as homicide victims to have been bullied by peers. So just not liking to get, wow, that's pretty, that's interesting. Bully statistics say revenge is the strongest motivation for school shootings. That, and let's look at home life too. It's not just because that guy was mean to him that day. There's got to be, there's more than that. It's like more than just bullying. I'm going to look up the definition of bullying here in a second. 87% of students said shootings are motivated by a desire to get back at those who have hurt them. Man, I hope are they the same one who killed their parents too? Because I'm pretty sure they've been hurt by them. 86% of students said other kids picking on them, making fun of them, or bullying them causes teenagers to turn to lethal violence in schools. Just a way to finger point. Sometimes okay, actually, I'm going to stop reading these, mainly because I got some things to talk about as far as what we're going to discuss today. And I'm going to move this over just a bit because I have to look at something. We're going to look this up. Okay. So, here we go. Okay, bully. A person who uses strength or power to harm or intimidate those who are weaker. And the verb usage of it is use superior strength or influence to intimidate someone, typically to force him or her to do what one wants. Boom. Okay. So, going off that definition. Going off of that definition, that means basically anytime you're using any sort of intimidation tactic, it's considered to be a bully. You're using something to psychologically make the other person feel defensive, weak, or to cower down, to bow down before them. And it's basically, that is an alpha type attitude. And what I mean by that is like animals. Alphas will do that. They'll bully and dominate over the other ones because they are the leaders. And they want to make sure that everyone knows they are the leaders. So with that, there should be a lot more statistics on bullying because, let's face facts, adults can be bullied too. Bosses get that one a lot. But bosses, any type of leadership, just the big guy at work. I mean, adults deal with this too, which is odd, but it's true. And then you've got to deal with, now school bullies are different. And I'm going to be doing a technique today with my son to kind of go over just to honor the whole, it's the month of bully awareness, and he's going to teach the technique. But bullies will even use mass force. What do I mean by that? They could be the smallest guy, but because they have 5 big friends, they're going to utilize that as an intimidation tactic. And they're going to use that as, that's how come I'm going to be brave enough to take on this kid who they either told me to or I don't care. So, and that's another thing we got to look into when it comes to bullies. Sometimes we like to say, this is the reason why these kids do this. Video games, bullying, mommy and daddy didn't hug me enough, mommy and daddy are abusive, this kind of, we want to throw so many types of things out there for just to say, yeah, that's the reason why I do it, that's why, man, that's why. Now, I can say that they'll have a significant, you know, I'm trying to think of the word, it's a significant influence. They have a significant influence on that mapping of your psychology of why you might think that it's okay, or something that shuts you down a little bit. They have that influences you, yes, but it does not choose your actions. Your actions are chosen by you. You can only be accountable for you. You can't point your finger at everybody around you. Is bullying a problem? Yes, and there's different kinds of bullies. Cyberbullying, physical bullying, mental bullying. Instead of, basically physically pushing you around, you kind of just get demeaned a lot. Really felt like really bad. Girls are really like the wicked scientists of those. So they can do it to guys and girls alike, and it's just because guys can't punch a girl in the face. I mean, some will, but other guys who've been taught better in their life won't, and it's difficult. So there's different kinds of bullying, and it's because of the fact that they're using that power. Now, some say, how did cyberbullying become a bully technique? Well, when you think of trolling, they hide behind they have no faces, nothing on the profile, they have nothing. They're just out there to say mean things and just to set people up to try to basically tear down someone. That's just a bullying of a mental capacity, and they're using the power of their anonymity to basically do that. And that's what they want. So it's just a way for someone who wants to be a douchebag and a jerk and not be called out on it to do it. And so that's why I think that there's the physical bully just has a little bit more guts. He has a little more testicular fortitude than the guy that's behind the keyboard. He's going to be able to rise up, and he actually gets in your face, and he's like, hey, man. Now, here's some rules for bullying. 1, be aware. Okay? Be aware of the bully and who's the one that seems to be trying to have that alpha attitude. He's the one that's going to be standing arrogantly. He's the guy that's going to have his lead. He's the guy that leans up against the locker and he looks at everybody. And he's the guy that people are behind, not him behind of. That's the person that more than likely he's going to be the guy that's going to initiate certain things. Is it going to be technically that person that's in your face? No, but I can guarantee you that's the guy that's making the decision. So be aware of that kind of situation. And for rule number 2, lay low. And what do I mean by that? Stay off the radar. Which means what? Which means get out, and this doesn't work all the time, and that's why we'll get to rule 3. Just try to do the best you can to stay away from that kind of setting. Stay with your own friends, stay at your own things, and try to basically avoid the drama. Because that's all that is. That's boy drama. And then for females, just stay away from that kind of thing. Don't. And I know part of you wants to always talk back, or you want to fight. And honestly, this is where that whole ignoring them thing, but it may not work, and that's why we get to rule 3. Rule 3: stand up for yourself when necessary. Example: if someone's yakking, if they're just talking, saying bad things, let them say bad things, man. I don't give a just don't care. Who cares about that? None of that's going to matter anyway. Especially if you're in high school, none of it's going to matter. It's going to matter nothing afterwards. I'm telling you, it won't matter at all. Ever, ever, ever. What they say means nothing. Okay? Just to put it in your mind. I'd have to care what you think for me to be offended by what you have to say. Just put that in your head. And the fact of the matter is, so that's why the whole ignoring thing works, is walking away from it, but stand up for yourself if necessary. If they're just talking trash, you can walk away from it. But if they're in your face, if they're really kind of forcibly doing this, then you've got to tell someone that this is a problem. Okay? Stand up for yourself, but tell somebody. Tell someone that's out there. Tell a authority figure. Tell a teacher, parent, whatever. You might say they don't care, but half the time it's because they don't know. So tell someone, anyone, a trusted confidant, not a kid, but an adult. And let someone know, even if it's your youth pastor, let someone know. So you go through that, you do all that stuff, and then be ready to deal with this thing in a physical manner if it comes down to it. That's rule 4 or 5 now? Oh. I think I'm at 5. Basically, when you're standing up for yourself, be ready to throw. Be ready to throw down at a moment when you stand up for yourself. Do not ever be under the influence, or do not buy into the also popular, ignore them, they'll go away. Stand up for yourself, they won't fight back. They're cowards, really. That's a load. Be ready to throw down. Some might back down when you stand up, but I'm telling you, the vast majority of bullies will not back down. Why? They've been bullied at home. They've been bullied in their life. It's somewhere down the line, whether it's parents or brothers or whatever, sister, whatever it is, they've got problems. And they put this power out on you because they can. Some are just crazy psychopaths, or they're just plain jerks. And that's why they do this. You confront that person, and they're, like I said, they're trying to take that alpha type attitude. You challenge an alpha in a type of a fight, they're going to fight to keep their status. You challenge their status. You've challenged them, and what you're going to do is now you're setting yourself up that you're going to have to back up your mouth. If you can't back up your mouth, do not take that stance. Seriously. And I know that's weird coming from a self-defense guy, but do not take that stance. If you cannot throw down, if you do not have a quick escape plan, if you do not have any type of thought pattern or situational awareness of how bad it is right at that moment, then you should not do it, because you're gonna get hurt. And I'm sorry, but if people say, well, I'll just get a gun and go to school and all that stuff, no. No. Being a murderer is over the edge for someone talking bad, pushing you, or doing anything physical. I mean, honestly, kicking them in the balls is one thing, but shooting them in the face is a complete different thing. Take accountability for your actions, and no, that's not the way to go. That is the absolute wrong way to go. And no, taking your own life only helps that person win. You don't want the bully to win. So you got to understand that you are worth everything. Your life is worth standing up to this person. So I always encourage people, learn how to take care of yourself. And I don't mean by firearms, and I don't mean by weapons, because those will get you arrested. So, learn to take care of yourself the best you can, and stand up to the bully with words first, and make sure you can try to de-escalate that situation with only words. If you go with insult per insult, it's going to become an escalated situation where you are probably going to get jumped. Do not do that, okay? So basically, be smart, be aware, don't let talking get to you at all. Let it just, okay? Ignore them. Walk away from it. de-escalate the situation, but be ready to fight. Okay, a lot of statistics. Be accountable for yourselves. Guys, this is an awareness thing. That's why it's gone a little bit longer on my video today. But it's a National Bully Awareness Days. Let's continue a month, not day. So let's keep this going. Let's talk about this a little bit more. But yes, stay accountable, stay smart, stay true to yourself. Remember, you're worth fighting for and you're worth sticking up for, okay? Later.